Welcome back to the end of the world after the Trump press conference yesterday. We will look, is AMC now bullish or not? We make a little update on Trump media. Was it really the bottom? We make an update on SAVA or FLNA. Are we going up now? After this terrible earnings, we will look, was this now the bottom for BYND? We make a little update on GNS. And of course, we will do a little update on SPY and nasdaq. If you're interested, just stay tuned. As always, I'm using the Fractal Method explanation video at the end of the video. Okay, well then let's jump into AMC. So for AMC today, again, just a little small update because nothing really happened. For the big update, 1 + squeeze, 2 + squeeze, price target, and so on, I will link the big update video at the end of the video. Today we just look what we have done. So, and I already posted that yesterday on my homepage. How it would look like. We have here, in my opinion, 3 ways. Yeah. First of all, for my longer viewers, you know, AMC isn't allowed to do a double bottom for the real V for the end. So this rule already is checked. Yeah, because here, at least on the 30-minute, no double bottom. It wasn't a double bottom. The first opium pill, yeah, still stands where this was the V, little sideways, breakout to our A. Which A? Just a little A of this little higher low, the last higher low we need. Yeah. Is this A would be already finished because 618 pullback. And now we should go up. And I say that really, I mean that really like this. We have to go up. Yeah. Maybe we're doing a little bit sideways or slow moving today still. But for next week, we have to go up to our little B. Yeah. Which should be over $1.13. Yeah. But not really higher than 116. Then 0.5 pullback. Up to our C, yeah, the peak of the higher low, which won't break 125. And then, if this is true, yeah, we already know our pullback target because we already have our A bottom, and that would be, let's delete this, that would be exactly here, 98 cents. This will be our pullback target. We have to be under this, even if only 0.001%. We have to be under this point here. And after that, we would go up to our last A. This peak here will reject the 200 EMA, in my opinion. 0.5, 0.618 pullback, squeeze. Again, for this, at least next week, we should start going upside. If we're still doing something like this, we will make new lows, in my opinion. I already was nice to AMC right now that I said, okay, it's a longer A pullback. But if we're still doing this, then this was just another T. And our price targets are still 90 cents or 86 cents for the next knife. Yeah. There is, if you watched me already longer, you know, for the V, we want a knife down and a clear V. Yeah, this is already hard at the breaking point. Yeah, to say this is not a V. Yeah, it's okay till now, but I want to see upside. Yeah. Also, one last thing: this little opium pill. Yeah, side by side. Yeah, left side 30-minute today, right side 1 hour 2021, and this whole thing would be this whole thing. Yeah? And right now we would be here. Yeah? This would be here. And we would still have to do this candle. This C would be this point. Just one thing. It is, if we're doing nothing, it could be that this whole thing right now is just this thing. Yeah, that's why we're going so sideways, because normally this candle should have gone already up here. Yeah, there is no really pullbacks in here. Yeah, what is impossible in my opinion is that this was this and this is this. I know it looks like it. Yeah, if we really compare it, it really looks like it. You have a peak, you fall down, you have one last hump, and you go up. Yeah, but the problem is that this candle is too low. Yeah, the peak of this candle should be up here. So, yeah. But the thing is, you have the same formation here, one step before. Same formation. So there is a possibility that this little peak here is this little peak. But same thing. It doesn't matter if it's this or this. The sideways action. I mean, I said last week I could see that we go a full week of sideways. We did a full week of sideways. Yeah. So in the last hopium pill, we could be something like here, and next week we get this move. We have to see. But whatever we are doing, if we're doing nothing, in my opinion, this wasn't the bottom. And we still have to drop in April. Let's see. Okay, next one is DGT. So, small update for DGT. For the summary, again, if this was the bottom now or not for DGT, we should still be close. This whole first fractal should be near the end. Next thing for the overview is, we will look at this in a second, but we're doing a small higher low. And then the only question is, are we doing the big one or the massive higher low? But after that, the big moves are coming, in my opinion. A would be 60, B would be 80. And then the only question is breaking all-time highs or not. And again, if we look at all runs on DGT, I don't really think we're getting an A pullback, B pullback, and so on. Especially because we are not comparing these landmarks, we're comparing the IPO landmark. Yeah? So I think we're getting, whatever it is, something stupid. But first, we have to do this little higher low down here. And the next question is, are we finished with it? And right now, it looks fucking great. Yeah. First of all, we start with the bearish alternative. That means, of course, if you break down, if you break $8.30 or touch it, you will make a new low. And you have to start the higher low again. Yeah, no way around it. Same as BYND, FFAI, and whatever. You're not allowed to touch or break 830. If not, this V here on March 20 could be our V. Also on the 30-minute, it's not a double bottom. It doesn't matter really much for DGT, but it's nice to see that it is only one wick. Then we did a small higher low and we broke out. In my opinion, this is very, that there's a big chance that this is a pullback, and we now have to go then to B and C. This whole thing we are doing right now would be our small higher low. In my opinion, you won't break this trend line, so nothing over $12-$30-ish. Pullback, and then the bigger one starts. I also think that if we are bullish, that this peak could be maximum and end of May. So is this little A pullback finished? I mean, we have a little market crashing event today. We look at that in SPY and nasdaq today. But I think we still have to go a little bit lower today. Yeah, what I mean with that. Right now we are at the 0.5. So there is a chance we just bounce here. Or we still have to go down to the 618, which would be around 8.73, something like that. But then we should go up, yeah, for next week. Yeah. So it looks interesting. It really looks interesting. One thing for levels, if you touch or break 8.55, the 786, this can't be A, yeah, because A never touches the 786. This could still be just another higher low, yeah, but again, then you really should start go up, yeah. If you don't go down here, more time, more lows. But right now, this looks fucking perfect that whatever we get today was the next little bottom before we go up. Yeah. So, yeah, DGT looks interesting and nice. And one last thing, I don't want to hype, but this thing is ending. Yeah, there is a chance that if you break under over 12.13, you just go up. Yeah, I'm not thinking that. I still think we need the higher low. Yeah, as it should be. But if you're really breaking, I would say if you're going over 14, 15, it starts getting interesting. But all in all, since when do I track this? After 1 year of tracking, I think we're finally coming to an end. Okay, next one is BYND. And for BYND, we had terrible earnings. Just saying before we start, nothing really changed. There was no move which broke the fractal. The thing is just, I already said in the video before earnings, if you run into earnings massively, I mean, we ran really massively. I would have expected a 5% run into earnings, not 18 to 20% run. But normally, if you run into earnings, that's so far, especially if you're not tracking something like really we are ready, we are squeeze, which we really weren't. This was kind of 80% sure that we will not from earnings. It's not bullish to run into earnings, especially not with that kind of squeeze. So we still have three. It's not doom and gloom. Yeah. What is clear is that this peak on earnings before market close was our T, the small T. I'm talking about the T of this section here. Yeah. This was our big middle T, the midpoint. Last time to sell before the V. So for the absolute bullish version, this here was the V. March in after hours. This was the V. Also, little hopium pill. If you take the trend line from your M with the most touch lap points, you perfectly bounced on this trend line. It was resistance, it was support, and now it was support too. So in the most bullish case, this was the V. Would we go up from here? Because I already got the question, could this be the higher low? Could, yeah. But even if this is the higher low, you still have to come down to 59 cents, yeah, under the 786 to finish this higher low. And also, I think even if we did that, I think we still need the bigger one, the small, bigger one. Yeah. So coming up to this trend line, but reject here at 70 and one last time down. Or you really start going up from here. It's okay. Next moves for bullish next levels for bullish tracking would be over this T. So over 72 cents is bullish. And confirmation is again over 80 cents. A, B, and then we start doing the bigger moves. That would be the bullish thesis. The bear, still bullish thesis, the second version would be this. Yeah. In that case, you will drop. Yeah. You will break 58 cents. 58. Yeah. Because this little bounce here was just your tiny M, the tiny M of this T. Drop, come up again to your T, and then you find your V. Yeah. Then you still have to do your little higher low, and then you go. Yeah. These two versions are still bullish. And I would say these two versions have still a possibility that at end of April, latest, we start getting bullish. Yeah. The really bearish alternative to these bullish cases would be this. Yeah, same as DGT, same as FFAI. Yeah, that would just mean you broke this higher low because you checked this as higher low. You did a perfect head and shoulders. You take your trend, you take your line from your head and shoulders, put it where you break, and this would be your target. Same as DGT. The problem comes here, you're breaking all-time lows from October. The really big problem is that this big macro higher low can't be higher low than anymore. Yeah, doesn't matter if it's only 1 cent or not. If you touch or break 50 cents, that's bad. And this here becomes your T. Except the thing is, it's not really about the price. That's what the problem is. The main problem is we're coming into an area where they may be doing a reverse split, but the main problem with this low is, if this is T, yeah, you come down wherever your bottom is, yeah, and then you still have to do your macro higher low, yeah, and in that case, you won't break over this trend line, the main trend line. I'm talking about this main trend line for your higher low. So maximum, depends how quick we are, but $2, $3. Pull back again. And after that, we can start with A, B, and C. And I tell you, if we're doing this, this is not this year. Yeah, no way. If we really have to do this, that's not this year. It's not over. Then, but for our big moves, we really have to wait then. And that's shitty. Yeah. Not seeing that yet. Yeah. But again, very important. I am always saying, if you're breaking certain levels, there is no if this and that and no hope here. Yeah. Same here. After we broke 65 cents, it was clear we go down. We're not allowed to break or touch 50 cents. We just are not allowed. End of story. Right now, version 1 and version 2 looks fine. Version 3 is shit. Okay? But let's see. Let's see what we get. Okay. Next one is SAVA, or how it is called right now, FLNA. Yeah. It's a buyer company. I didn't do an update on this for a long time because we were still waiting for our price target. It's a buyer company. They are searching for a drug for Alzheimer. Just saying, buyer company. Yeah. 100% risk play, in my opinion, even riskier than AMC. Because, you know, buyer companies. Most of the time they start high and after years they go to zero. Yeah. But that's fundamentals. Why are we looking at FLNA? Just because it's always doing the same thing. It peaks, it gaps down. It's doing nothing, it gap fills. It peaks, it gaps down. It's doing nothing, it gap fills. It peaks, it gap down. It's doing nothing and gap fill. Gap down, nothing, gap fill. Yeah? That's in very, very short and easy words, the fractal of FLNA. And right now, we peaked, we gapped down, we're doing nothing. So we are tracking for the gap fill. What gap fill I'm talking about? I'm talking about the gap between 26 and $5. About this gap we are talking. There are two absolute bullish versions, one absolute bearish version. We start with the bearish one because it's the easiest one. If you break down from here, especially if you touch $1.15, you are right here. You will make new all-time lows, and that's not the shitty part. The shitty part is you still have to do this. This will take months. Months of nothing. I still think you have done a good chance to still gap fill, but it will take more time. For the two bullish versions, our bottom, our low, was April 2025. Since then, we're doing higher low, which looks like we're coming now to an end. Next move is gap fill. And I'm not talking about A, B, C. No, I'm talking about gap fill. Something like that. Something like that. Massive candles to the upside. And also to say this, 100% risk free. There are options on this stock. But I tell you now, no financial advice. If you're going into options and you're not getting this move, you aren't able to get out of them. No chance. There is, as long as we don't get a move, no volume on these contracts. You aren't able to sell them. Whatever money you throw on this stock, except you're playing shares, that's not that risky. But for options, any money you throw on the stock and you're not getting the move, the money is gone. That's why I'm saying 100% risk play. For tracking wise, how close are we? So this is our higher low. This whole thing. And first rule, we are not under the 786. That's why we have two bullish versions. But we could be under the V under A. Here's our A bottom. We are under it. We bounced. So for this version, what we are doing right now is we're doing higher low. Yeah. Right now we're doing a micro higher low. Yeah. But all in all, we are doing our higher low. In that case, we won't break over this trend line. So we won't break over $2.30-ish. Coming back down, and then it's gap down. Second version, because the 786 is lower. In that case, you will drop more, and your A is down here. But this is your last chance. $1.46. This is your last chance to really bounce. So down here. Come on. Down here. Higher low and go. This is your last chance to bounce. Otherwise, you will go down. One last thing for FLNA. You can backtrack it. This move always starts its big moves. I'm talking about these big moves. Friday pre-market, Friday after hours, Monday pre-market. If you don't see anything Monday pre-market, you easily can say the rest of the week is just nothing happened. For FLNA, AMC and GME are quite the same. But for FLNA, that's fact. Yeah. If you don't see something Friday, if you don't see something Monday, it will be a boring week. Yeah. So why are we even playing this, or why are we even looking at this? Well, if we getting the gap fill, yeah, for shares, that's a 1,360% move. For options, that's a 13,000% move. That's the only reason. So let's see. Okay, next one is GNS. Just a tiny update. It's the same like DTT, BYND, maybe FLNA. Yeah. Fractal is looking like it's ending. Yeah. that we are finished. Same as FFAI, yeah, you have to hold this higher low, otherwise you will go down. But if this higher low is holding and finish, your next moves are for A, 6, for B, 80, and then the only question is, are you breaking all-time highs? And the same like DGT, all your moves are vertical. Yeah. So I think if we're breaking out here bullish, we don't see A or B. If you're doing the same thing as always, we just go up. So is the higher low finished? First of all, I'm not really covering this stock very often, just because, especially in the last months, because since November, we were waiting for our price target of 30 cents. Why 30 cents? Because 30 cents is under the 786, so higher low is finished, and our A bottom was here at 30 cents. I already said in the last video I covered this, I bought shares here. Exactly here by 30 cents. For the bullish tracking, this was your small higher low. Yeah, this was your small higher low, and you broke out. For the bullish tracking, you are right now in the A pullback. Yeah? From here to here, 786. There are two ways to see this. First, A pullback is already finished. Yeah, with the 786 bounce, and you go up, or you still have to do one more drop. Yeah. What will happen next? Well, first of all, we still need our micro higher low. This little A is just the A for the little micro higher low. This micro higher low isn't allowed to touch or break 45 cents. Yeah, maybe even lower. Yeah, not 45, yeah, 43 cents. Then you will come back again to 32 cents again, and then you start your big move. Again, you're not allowed to touch or break 29 cents. If you break or touch 99 cents, you will go lower. Also, for GNS, if you touch or break 20 cents, in my opinion, it's over for this stock. It's kind of the same as FFAI. For 10 cents, and you are delisted. And if you break down here, this is your next target. So how would I play this? Yeah, no financial advice. But right now we are sitting at 33 cents. Our max target for the higher low is 43, pull back in this range again. There is a chance that we just break this. Yeah? There are no options on this stock. There's only shares. The difference from 34 cents and 32 cents is nothing. Yeah, that's why I already bought here. If you're doing this higher low, I will buy here again. Yeah. To make that absolutely clear, my stop loss is 20 cents. Yeah, because if we break this, for me, GNS is over. Otherwise, we don't have stress. Shares, who cares? Yeah, and 33 or 32 cents. If you want to play it safely, no financial advice, and that's absolutely okay. Wait for the higher low. That's all. But GNS right now looks fantastic. Yeah. As long as we're holding this higher low and not doing the same thing as DGT and FFI, it's great. So next and last one, SPY and nasdaq. So, and before we start, I really have to say, this is the perfect example why this stock market is just a joke. Yeah. This point here, before we go into tracking, here, this point here. I mean, it's more blatant on SPY. Nasdaq, it's not that clear, but if you just take a trend here, SPY rejected perfectly at this point. what I want to say is, everyone now is saying, because Trump said yesterday, war is not over, the market is crashing. Okay, it's a good story. Yeah? But the thing is, why did he do the press conference yesterday? Just saying, why? Ask you that. Why exactly yesterday? Why not waiting for next week, Monday? Why exactly at the point where nasdaq, SPY, and IWM, the market in general, is at a decision point? Perfectly. We closed yesterday here, perfectly at this trend line. It doesn't matter what Trump said. If he would have said yesterday something, if you look for fundamentals and news, something absolutely bullish, peace, whatever, then the news would be, yeah, because of that, market is breaking to the upside. So why? Yeah? Why making the press conference at a level where you need a story for the next fractal move? Or if you don't believe in fractals, for the next wedge move for SPY, for example. Yeah? This market is just a joke. Yeah? They had to have a news, or day, or whatever. Yeah? There had to be a news for this move, because yesterday was the decision point. It's laughable. It's really laughable. So, we start with nasdaq first. It's quite funny. I was really 1 day early, because I sat back here. Yeah, I see easily a massive bounce, and it wouldn't be good to short it. Yeah. Then we made a new low on the next day, but 1 day after we got our bounce. So perfect. SPY reached its target from 650, 660. Yeah. nasdaq, my price target was 590, 600-ish. It missed. Yeah, it was not big enough. But this is clearly a rejection point. But to say this time it was easier for SPY to see it. And I think I said, when SPY is reaching its 660, 650 target, sorry, I have to drink something, and rejects here, then nasdaq will do the same. But for nasdaq, it wasn't that clear, because, okay, now you can put this trend line here, but otherwise you don't really can put a trend line. Yeah, not possible. Here it's way easier. So what will happen next? So we have two bullish alternatives, one really bearish one. Again, I still have to say, because now also a lot of people are screaming, now we short the market to the death. Again, I have to say, that's dangerous. I mean, today will be fucking red, in my opinion. That's for sure. Version 1. This here was still our T. This was still a V. We got the first bounce. Our first version is just that this peak here is an A. Yeah? In that case, you have two ways. You're pulling back to the 0.5, or you're pulling back to the 618. But, and I said it absolutely clearly, I don't think we will bounce at the 0.5. Just because of one thing. You have here this massive candle where peace news has been released. You have no support or resistance in here, in my opinion. So in the moment, and we are close right now already, in the moment you break 573.14, I think you really will flash down. Yeah. So I think the 0.5 won't hold. Could be wrong. Next level would be here. 567, something in this range could be your next target. Maybe we see it in a few minutes. Here, something in this range, 567 to 565-ish, 564 for nasdaq. I will show that on SPY in a second. Could be your bounce level. Yeah. I don't think you will see the bounce today already. So if you flash down, you will just do something like this the whole day. But that would mean next week you go up. Yeah. In my opinion, you will break, if you break then 516, 596, this will be your A, your big A, breakout retest, and you go higher. Yeah? That's why I think it's dangerous to go in massively short now. This would be bullish version 1. Bullish version 2, because we didn't broke T and rejected under it, would be that we're now doing a higher low, which we didn't do. We didn't have a higher low here. So in that case, you have to go down under the 786. So something around 562. You maybe even gap fill, but gap fill would be already very low. Yeah? Would we do that today? I mean, 4 or 5% can happen on NASDAQ. Maybe. Yeah. Wouldn't count for it, but maybe. Would look like this. Again, if you bounce in here, no financial advice, you could play YOLOs for next week. Because what is our next move if you're doing this higher low? Next move is also A. Just saying. Yeah, and A has to be over 596. Whatever news will come over the weekend. Maybe the mullahs, Iran, is saying, okay, sorry, Trump, we love you, peace. We have a big weekend. Who knows? Yeah? That would be bullish version number 2. Bearish version. This peak here was a T, is looking good because you have an M and big one. This would be a big T. So it would work. Yeah. In that case, you will touch or break 555. If you're really doing that today, is possible. Yeah. If you touch or break this level, your next price level is 553 for NASDAQ. But in that case, this price level won't hold. Next price level is 540. Yeah. And then we have to look. Yeah. So, yeah. One last thing, because of this gap here. I don't think we will fill. Well, normally you can say, if you have a gap, you fill this gap and then you go down. With that steep decline, and if you put this trend line, I don't think you will fill this gap today. Doesn't matter if you're bouncing down here or if you're making new lows. I think this gap will stay open for the next one. Okay, so much for NASDAQ. For SPY, pretty similar story. First of all, perfect rejection, as I said, on this trend line. What a coincidence. So, first bullish version. This is also an A. And you're doing a 0.5, 0.618 pullback. Also here, in my opinion, because of this massive candle with the peace news, I think the 0.5 won't hold. Your next chance is 640 to 638-ish for the 618 bounce. Also here, this would be down, bounce, big A, breakout retest, and go. Also, that's why I won't short SPY over the weekend. And I could be wrong. Second, same as NASDAQ. This is under T. So we still have to do higher low. Yeah. In that case, you still have to go under 635. You then already are in the gap. So maybe, yeah, here also, you're filling the gap. And then you do the same shit again. Yeah. Also here, if we do that today, no financial advice, we could play some YOLOs for next week, because then again, peace news or surrender on the weekend. Bearish version, same as NASDAQ, of course. This was your T. Is also working. Nice M, nice T. In that case, you will touch or break 629. Next price targets would be 625, same as NASDAQ. I don't think that this price target will hold. Next level is 612 to 600. Yeah. And then bounce. Yeah. Again, because I already said that in the last video, whatever we're doing here, if we're doing this or if we're doing this, yeah, I'm still then bearish on the market. I still think the rally here is not over. Yeah, I mean, if you're now making new lows and go, or if you make now a higher low or just a little pullback and go, I think you won't break all-time highs. The next one will be your macro L. And then the big downside is coming. Could be wrong. Doesn't matter now. We just track it till then. Yeah? But today could be a very nice red day. Or Trump is saying again something and we just squeeze. Don't think that, but yeah. Okay. As always, explanation video here, playlist here, big updates video, especially for our memes. Again, back there. If you liked it, you can leave a like. If you want to see more, you can leave an abo. Let's see how the market is closing today. See ya.